All right, we're going to call our special school board meeting to order. It is Tuesday, February 17th. We will do the Pledge of Allegiance with our regular board meeting. But before we begin, I would like to just read a statement in regards to our district leadership. I've had a few phone calls that I've taken over the past couple days, and I just wanted to let our community know that our superintendent, Dr. Varacco, formally submitted his letter of retirement to the Board of Education back in January. We want to thank him for his dedicated service to Lake Central, and we recognize the many contributions he has made, to our schools and community throughout his tenure. Lake Central would not be as successful as it is today without his leadership. As part of this board's responsibility to ensure continued stability and strong leadership for our district, the Board of Education is currently reviewing and voting on a contract for a new superintendent this evening. This process reflects our commitment to the thoughtful planning, transparency, and the long-term success of our students, staff, and community. We understand that leadership transitions are significant, and we appreciate the community's ongoing support, engagement, and trust as we work to ensure a smooth and positive transition. Thank you for your continued partnership and commitment to our schools. With that, I will turn it over to Mr. James.
Thank you, Mrs. Suze. Indiana code requires that we hold a public hearing anytime there's going to be a new contract for a superintendent in Indiana. And so we posted notice of this hearing back on February 6th. And so at this time, if anybody from the public has any comments regarding the posting that was made, you may speak now. Hearing none, that concludes the public hearing. And I will turn it over back to Mrs. Suze for board comments and adjournment.
All right, do we have any board comments? All right, I will call for adjournment.
Move for adjournment.
Motion from Dr. Malco.
Second.
Second, Ms. Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Now I will call to order the school board meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, welcome to our Tuesday, February 17th school board meeting. We will start with our agenda, approval, deletions, additions. Dr. Varacco.
Thank you, Mrs. Suze. We do have one adjustment to the packet, and that is under Roman numeral 7B1, Mrs. Castaneda's personnel recommendations. You have a copy with the changes highlighted in that copy at your workstation this evening. Everything else is the same as you received last week. Thank you.
We have a motion from Dr. Malco.
Second.
Second from Ms. Talent. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Is there any correspondence this evening, Ms. Kelly?
There is not, Mrs. Suze. Thank you.
All right, we'll move right into our liaison committee updates. Mr. Marshall.
From the previous, oh, I didn't have it turned on. Yeah, good. From the previous meeting, we've indicated that there's going to be a lot of activity in the next month. We have a number of interviews scheduled, and I'd like to get into more detail at a later date. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Talent.
Thank you, President Suze. Thank you. Concerning the redevelopment committee for Dyer, they will be meeting this Thursday, so I have no report there. And the wellness committee did have an opportunity to wrap up their STEP challenge. And in the STEP challenge, we have the main winners. Number one in STEPs was Protzman. Congratulations. Yay. And yeah, that's good. And in the STEP challenge, the second place was the high school. Ooh, yeah, good, yep. But overall, we had Protzman hanging right in there. It took first place in that area, and Bibbich took second. So thank you. The wellness The Wellness Committee does some pretty important things, and it helps our staff to think about wellness. When they are well, they are here more often instead of taking sick time. Our students benefit from having consistency with those teachers, our staff in place. And so the next wellness activity will be a couch to 5K. That sounds good. And it will be pulled in conjunction with the Color Run, and it will take place in April. So we've got a couple things going on around community working together with students and also with our staff. So thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Babcock?
Hi, good evening, and on behalf of the Lake Central Education Foundation, I'd like to announce a reminder of when the grants are due. Grant Round 64 is due February 23rd, which is very soon, and we've already received some grants that have been turned in, which is a very good feeling. Now, the seed grant information was sent out, I believe, in November, and its due date is right around the corner, March 3rd. Now, the seed grant is exactly what it says. The seed is planted and it nurtures, and everybody kind of works together for the seed grant. So a reminder of those due dates, and there's a lot of other things going on with the Education Foundation. You might want to check out our website and see some great pictures and actually students in action. And the Dyer Parks, I was not able to attend that meeting due to medical issues, and I do believe that Dr. Vracko is covering legislative committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kelly?
Yes, good evening. I have nothing new to report from either one of my committees.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we had a contest, too, with Dollars for Scholars called Penny Wars. And out of the 6 elementary, Protzman is our winner again. And our middle school, Grimmer. We raised a little over $20,000, and all of that money will go back to the class of 2026 graduating seniors, which they have till March 3rd to apply for a scholarship. If they have any questions, they should see Mrs. Resnick in the admissions office. So with that, we'll move on to our official school board business topics consent agenda. Dr. Varacco.
Thank you again, Mrs. Seuss. Seek board approval for the minutes from our executive session on Monday, February 2nd, our special board meeting work session on Monday, February 2nd, and our regular board meeting on February 2nd. Additionally, seek approval for the claims, payroll, and extracurricular expenditures that you received in your packets last week.
Move to approve.
We have a motion for Mr. Marshall, and I will second that. Any discussion?
I need to abstain because I was not at the meeting for all three, the executive session minutes, special board meeting minutes, and the regular board meeting minutes, and the approval of the claims, payroll, and extracurricular.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And one abstain. Motion approved. Comments? There's no public comments, so we will move on to our official school board business topics regular agenda. Dr.
All right, the
Varacco.
top news story for tonight. It is time to appoint our new superintendent, and with that, I will turn it over to Mrs. Seuss.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Do we have any discussion?
Now, since the name wasn't revealed in the posting, can you do that for
Oh, yes.
the record?
Mrs. Sarah Castaneda is our choice for the next superintendent. So we have a first, we have a second, and then I heard a third, but do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. But if I could just say a few things real quick. It is our great pleasure to welcome Mrs. Sarah Castaneda as the next superintendent of Lake Central School Corporation. Mrs. Castaneda is no stranger to our schools or our community. Having faithfully served Lake Central for the past 12 years, and with over 25 years in education, she brings a deep understanding of our district's values, traditions, and commitment to excellence in education. Throughout her years of service, she has demonstrated strong leadership, dedication to student success, and a genuine passion for supporting staff, students, and families. We are excited to have a leader who knows our school corporation so well and who is committed to building upon our strong foundation while guiding Lake Central toward continued growth and innovation. Her experience, vision, and long-standing connection to our community position her well to lead our district into the future. Please join us in welcoming Mrs. Castaneda to her new role and in supporting her as she begins this important work on behalf of our students, staff, and community.
Now, before we take a picture down in front with the other important people who came out tonight, I am a short timer now, but I still they haven't cut off my volume, so I still get to talk. And I want to commend the board for reviewing the 13 years of quality leadership provided by Mrs. Castaneda. I'm confident the quality of our schools and the levels of our student achievement will continue to rise under her leadership. Thank you to all of our staff, Sarah's family and friends who came out to recognize and celebrate this very important night, and for us to congratulate and welcome Sarah as our next superintendent. Thank you. You want to take a picture with your family?
Yeah, let's go take pictures. Yeah. Family. We going down too? Yeah.
I forgot to pass
Oh, we got Howard. Yeah, we can go over there. We're not gonna get Howard because we have Howard. No, we can sit around him. We'll stand around him.
Yeah, right?
And then whoever wants to get it.
Yeah, we'll let them do the family first, and then we'll do us. You two guys can be in this one.
Well, yeah. Come on.
Sarah, you want to run the light real quick and introduce your teams?
Whatever.
Her sister's the one who looks just like her.
First and foremost, I love this because I used to run and coach track, so this means a lot to me. I may not give it back to the athletic department, I'll just buy you a new one. I wanted to say thank you to the school board for this opportunity. In my 12 years at Lake Central, I have witnessed firsthand what an extraordinary school corporation this is, and I am honored to be able to serve the district in a new way as superintendent. Our Lake Central teachers and administrators and staff are absolutely phenomenal. They're some of the most dedicated, hardworking, and compassionate individuals I've had the privilege to work with in my career in education. And I am so incredibly excited that I get to continue working alongside them in this new role. I knew I would be like this, so I want to take a moment to highlight some positive things so I don't get too choked up, because we have so many wonderful things happening here at Lake Central. We have made so many gains at the elementary, middle, and high school level, making us one of the top school districts in Northwest Indiana, and that's a testament to our teachers and our administrators. We have helped develop outstanding programs that have made us a destination of choice for so many of our families. We have passed multiple referendums with the support of our community to build new schools and to keep the district competitive with other high-performing schools. We offer so many different opportunities here for our students to get involved in and find their people and discover what they're passionate about. And there are countless other examples that I could go on and on about of our students and our staff and our parents making connections and supporting one another. The beautiful thing about Lake Central is if something happens, there's an army of people ready to help you. I think sometimes people look from the outside at Lake Central and see this really big, overwhelming place, and they think that's a bad thing. But what I found being a part of this team is that that size and all the outstanding people in it are what really make us great. Dr. Veraco, so much of what I just shared is a result of your leadership. When you took over this district, it was a little bit of a mess, to put it lightly, due to some cuts by the state and a few other things. You have spent your entire tenure here not only building the place back up, but making sure it was set up for success in the future. You're leaving us in such a good position, and I am incredibly grateful for that. My goal is to build on that strong foundation and continue to move Lake Central forward so our students can achieve their best, not only in school, but in life after the classroom. I just want to say a quick thank you to the central office team, my little dream team. I really do have the best group of people to work with, and they make all the difference in the world. And I appreciate all of your support and advice over the years. And I want to thank my family. I shouldn't have gone there. And my friends for all their love and support. It means so much, and I'm just so grateful for this position, so thank you.
Okay, now we have the rest of our meeting. You're welcome to stay if you don't have anything else to do.
Get their names down, Larry.
But, no, this is a good time to depart. We're going to continue the rest of our business meeting of the school board. And thank you for coming out, and we'll see you all soon.
You're so sweet. Did you hear that?
What did he say?
He said you're doing great, Sarah. So sweet. Me too. Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I want to thank Scott and Doug and Carrie for hanging with us.
All right. Just so you know, since they left, we're keeping track. Those are buttons for all of you.
All right, my second item for this evening, a lot less exciting, but is to ask the board to approve the policies that are listed in their totality. These are policies that we spoke of at our last work session. There are a couple of policies left in this packet that we'll catch in 2 weeks, and then we'll submit them to Neola to be updated on the website, excuse me. And so seek board approval for the policies listed.
So moved.
Motion for Mrs. Talent,
I'll second.
second for Ms. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, thank you. My final item is to do legislative update. I want to, before I get into some individual bills, though, talk about our February 6th meeting that we hosted here in the K-Trap room. The Northwest Indiana Superintendent Study Council, along with Seamus Boyce, our lobbyist. We were fortunate to have 5 different legislators join us, and we presented 3 different school districts, Highland first, then Lake Central, then Lowell, the impact of Senate Enroll Act 1 on them and on Lake Central over the course of the next few years. All of the presenters had powerful charts demonstrating the decline in revenue that began here in calendar 2026 and continues through calendar 2031. It was also shared, at least in our presentation, how the cities and towns who make up our school district are being impacted. It was interesting that towards the end of my presentation, Representative Aylesworth from Hebron asked if we would like for them to consider a pause in the increases to the supplemental deduction, to which I thanked him for summarizing my presentation. So, you know, you can get affirmation from people and you can get head nodding, but when someone talks back to you and shares what your main point is, it's rewarding to know that your message got through. Having said that, you know, I think next year is our big chance for something to happen in that formula that is costing cities, towns, and school districts so much money because of the reduction in the net assessed value. I did send recordings of all 3 presentations to the board, and it's interesting that I got an updated version yesterday from our lobbyist, and he was able to turn up the volume on the recording when the representatives sometimes they forgot to turn their mic on, so that didn't come through. So he was able to mess with Jeremy's tape, and so I'll resend that out so you can hear what the representatives were saying as well. I think he's going to use it with a few other influential people around the Indiana General Assembly. So I think that was a worthwhile meeting that we hosted here, and so I thank the other superintendents for attending and participating, and Mr. James for helping me with my presentation, which I think did resonate with those folks. So any questions about that piece?
Could you identify the representatives that were in attendance?
Representative Slager, Senator Durnall, Senator Rodney Pohl from Chesterton,
What's his name again?
Rodney Pohl, P-O-L, and then Senator Niemeyer made it for part of the presentation.
And then Mr. Ellsworth?
And Mr. Aylesworth, yeah.
So did you expect more to be in attendance?
No, that was, well, we had invited a couple other people to the first presentation with Highland. They didn't make it.
And can you identify the superintendents that were there, or administrative leaders?
I can only tell you that Brian Smith presented for Highland, Dana Bogathy and Andy Anderson presented for Lowell. There were about 20 other administrators there, superintendents and business managers, a couple assistant superintendents, but I hate to try to guess at the list without it in front of me and leave somebody out, but I would say that of the 22 members of our study council, 13 or 14 were represented.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm sorry, did you say that Andy Anderson represented Lowell and not Dana?
Dana did the bulk of the presentation, but Andy participated as well.
Okay,
Andy's the superintendent and Dana's the chief financial officer.
got it. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, Senate Bill 76, Immigration Matters. This is the bill that the Indiana School Board Association did put in their top 3 things to know last Friday. That particular piece of legislation was not on our radar early in the session. There is still no specific language that excludes school from having to cooperate with ICE or face felony charges. So, we're just trying to impress upon our legislators, and I made it a slide or two in the back end of my presentation with the 5 who visited with us that, we force even parents going on a field trip to be background checked, and they're not really, going to be around individual students for all that large amount of time. When someone comes to visit even their student at a school, we buzz them in and make them wait and keep them in the office, and we do lots of things not to have strangers wandering around our schools. And I specifically asked them if there was a way for them to work through local law enforcement who we know if there's somebody that they need to talk to that badly or that, in such a rushed situation, that we're not really interested in having a situation where our schools, the level of anxiety goes through the roof because we have a lot of armed people in vests trying to track down a student who isn't guilty of having committed a crime a few minutes before. There are cases across the country where the local police come into the building because they have to get somebody. And when they've just done something outside of the school and they pose a threat to the people inside of the school, that's one thing. These other situations don't really rise up to that level. So anyway, we're hoping that they still put something in place so that we can keep restricted access to people who we don't know. House Bill, go ahead.
No, is there a drop-dead deadline on that 76?
Well, everything's going to wrap up by next week, so
It's been sent back to the
It's-
Senate with amendments.
it's important to follow what's going on this week and next because they're going to button everything up by next Friday.
You're talking by Friday, the 27th?
Correct.
So now's the time, not later.
Right.
Tonight when you get home. All right, and tomorrow when you wake up. Thank you.
HB 1210, tax and fiscal policy. This is the area where we thought, well, there might be a chance to get something in there to adjust SCA 1. It looks like there is one small piece that I don't think really impacts us that much in terms of the communities that share a local income tax with the schools, that they're pushing that back a year or two. But one of the pieces that would impact us is, as we engaged with Policy Analytics last spring in order to determine the true impact to Lake Central of SCA 1, anytime you use a financial advisor, this piece of legislation will require us to have a request for quote from these financial advisors at least every 3 years. Afterwards, the contract must be posted on the school website and on Gateway. The author of the bill's intent is to increase competition and lower costs over time. And, one thing I think the state could consider, just like when we talk about student information systems, is maybe the state could go out for bid for the entire state and get a really, really good price, if that's their goal. But anyway, anything that's going to impact us financially will end up in House Bill 1210, and so we will continue to follow that closely as we wind down the session. And then the final piece I want to talk about real quickly is the Senate Bill 78. This is the bell-to-bell cell phone ban. When we were surveyed last summer and again recently, the answers that, at least when I completed the survey, was that we have a pretty good system going right now where we're using the door hangers and kids are turning over their phone for the period, but we don't take it away from them all day. They get to use it during passing periods and lunch, and then likely on the school bus on their way home. This bill, though, wants the devices to be stored away, powered off, and inaccessible throughout the school day. And that's going to be a tough enforcement task for larger schools. And I don't think that they've really made this perfectly clear to parents yet what the intent of this law is, because a lot of our parents, if something were to happen near a school or at school or in a school, they want to be able to reach their child, and their expectation is that they can do that. They don't ever say, I just need to talk to my child anytime during the day about nothing. But when the safety piece comes into play, that's going to get some people fired up. And asking students to leave their devices at home or in their car or in their locker, it seems to be the best option when you think about enforceability. But the question then is, how likely is that to be followed? And, we hear from a lot of young people now who, when they have to turn over a phone, they turn over their old iPhone 6 and the real phone's still in their pocket. So we still have to worry about Apple Watches and Google eyeglasses and you name it. So we talk about this at lunch with Bill and Rob and I, and the technology is probably going to outpace the legislation, and they're going to continue to be ahead of us for a while. Nonetheless, I do think it's important to reiterate that our teachers have found the current cell phone restrictions to be most helpful, and that kids are more engaged. And so, I don't want to sound too negative about it. It's just that when you ramp it up to a level that may not be easily enforced, I just hope we don't go backward from where we are, because the current system's working pretty well, not just at Lake Central, but in other schools that are doing similar things. So that's my SB 78 update. By the next time, we'll have some hard legislation that's been passed, and we'll get back to it then. Thank you.
Thank you. And our Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Castaneda.
Thank you. For my only item, I seek the board's approval for the personnel recommendations, the revised copy that you received this evening.
Motion to approve?
Motion from Ms. Kelly. I will second that. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And I understand you'll be doing Dr. Bracy's section also?
I will. For Dr. Bracy, I'm asking the board's approval for the professional leave requests at the elementary level.
So moved. Go ahead.
We have a motion from Mr. Marshall and a second from Mrs. Talent. Any discussion or question? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. And then for Dr. Bracy's other item, I am seeking the board's approval for the field trip requests.
Motion to approve?
Motion from Ms. Kelly,
And I'll second.
second from Mrs. Talent. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
And our Director of Secondary Education, Mrs. Schoeneman.
Thank you. For my first item, I'm seeking the board's approval for the professional leave requests found in your board packet.
So moved, please.
Motion from Dr. Malkow. I will second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And for my second item, I'm seeking the board's approval for the field trip request also included in your board packet.
Move to
Motion to
approve.
We have a motion from Mr. Marshall and a second from Ms. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our Director of Student Services, Mrs. Gramala.
Thank you. For my only item tonight, I just wanted to notify the board and our community that as we've talked about kindergarten enrollment, it's also time for families to think about enrollment in our preschool program for next school year. So as our preschool program is focused primarily for our students with disabilities, we do have a limited number of peer spots. And those are for students without disabilities who serve as peer models for our students with disabilities in the program. And those are available to any residents of our community, but they do need to participate in a community screening first. And those spots are filling up for next school year. So we have three screening dates remaining for this school year. And so any interested parents could sign their student up for screening, and once they pass that screening, they can enroll and secure a spot for next school year. So those remaining dates are March 17th, April 15th, and May 13th. And to schedule a screening appointment, they just call our central office number and speak to Robin Mestridge, my assistant. They get to come in and play with all kinds of really cool people and do some fun stuff. And then parents can enroll in one of our programs. And we have peer spots open at Watson, Bibbich, and Coling for next school year. And students can start with us as soon as they turn 3. So we have our AM students are 3 and 4, and then our afternoon spots are for students the year before they enroll in kindergarten. So the flyer is part of our board minutes, and they can call for more information.
I'm sorry, Ms. Gramala,
Yes.
did you say those were half-days?
They are half-day. We do not have any full-day programs.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, our Director of Business Services, Mr. James.
Thank you. My first item is to seek your approval for the donation that was included in your board packet.
Move for approval?
We have a motion from Dr. Malco. I will second that. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. My second item is to seek your approval for the 26-27 food service bids. We are part of the Food to School Purchasing Cooperative with multiple other school districts across the state, and they do the bidding through the co-op for our various food programs. The last time that the co-op did bids was prior to the 24-25 school year, and those were awarded and with an option for 4 one-year renewals. In January, the co-op chose to renew the grocery contracts with HPS, GFS, and Commercial Food Systems, the milk contract with Pleasant View, and the bread contract with Alpha Bakery for the 26-27 school year. We are also required then here locally to approve and renew those contracts. So I seek the board's approval to continue those relations with those vendors for the 26-27 school year.
Motion to approve?
Motion from Ms. Kelly,
Second?
second from Mr. Marshall. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. My next item is to give the board an update on our student ADM count. So as you know, there are 2 counts. There's the fall count, which is the main count, but then also there's another count done on the beginning of February. So in your board packet, I have included the differences in how our enrollment changed between the fall count in October and the February count here in February 26th. And overall, we are down 111 students in that time. But as noted in your detail, 62 of those were mid-year graduates and/or GEDs obtained at the high school. We had approximately 101 students move out of the state or to other school districts. Then I gave you the breakdown of rest of the other withdrawals, and we had approximately 117 move-ins and new enrollments into the school district across the area. So this is common, especially again with the mid-year grads at the high school. So again, in your board packet, you see the breakdown not only by grade and how they change, but also by location. So are there any questions? Okay. Then my final item is to give a board my annual update on our funding per ADM. And this is information I get from the state regarding not only Lake Central, but for every school district in the state, not only traditional public schools, but also the public charter schools as well. So in your board packet, I've provided a detailed listing of, excuse me, all 376 schools that are funded through the school funding formula. For this school year, there are 290 traditional school districts and 86 charter schools made up of brick and mortar and virtual schools. You will see that we rank 335th in funding out of 376. So that puts us kind of like in the bottom 11% of the funding per state. Thanks, Bill. But overall, this past budget session, was where they do the, set the budget for how much the school funding formula is going to be. You will see that in here for fiscal year 26, it is just under $9.4 billion total. That's going up. That was a 3.8% increase from the prior year. The second session of the budget, which will be next year, is an additional 3% increase. How that works down and trickles down to us, we'll see. One thing that was a little concerning was that for a while there, the gap between the highest funded school district and the lowest funded district seemed to be shrinking. But for about the past 6 or 7 years, that gap seems to be growing a little bit further. I haven't noted that 46 of the top 56 schools corporations funded are charter schools. And after thinking about that a little bit more, and those are the ones highlighted in gray in your board packet and the detail, traditionally, the students who are going to charter schools are often more impoverished, and that is the driving force of how the dollars are for, extra monies in the formula. And so it does make sense that would happen. One thing to also note when it comes to the charter schools is that in the 2023, the state passed legislation requiring schools like us to share referendum dollars with charter schools, not necessarily, they didn't have to be located in your district. If it's anyone who had a student who lives within your boundaries and goes to a brick and mortar charter school, we had to give them the opportunity to partake in our referendum campaigns and then get a percentage of those dollars. So when we did our campaign last year, I believe there were 5 charter schools located in the area which had at least one student from St. John Township attending. We reached out to all of them, and none of the 5 wanted to partake in our referendum dollars. So all the money that was approved by our taxpayers will be staying here locally with Lake Central. So we're grateful for that. Again, I just mentioned for us last year, our amount was $6,924 per student. It is now increased to $7,245 per student. So that's up about 4.5%. One of the things to also note is that especially with SEA 1 that Dr. Veracco talked about, we've talked about how schools are getting squeezed in their operations fund and referendum funds. That means more dollars are probably going to have to come out of the education fund to transfer into those funds to make up for those revenue shortfalls if they don't have a referendum currently, or if they're at a frozen rate that they don't look to increase at a certain time. So to help offset those revenue losses and still maintain the general costs of overhead, can be troubling for some school districts, which is why we think that there's going to be a larger amount of districts this fall who potentially either go for a referendum who don't have one already, or who have to go for an increased rate like we did. I did have a note on the bottom of that table that of the 290 traditional school districts, 103 of them have tried for an operating referendum and it either failed or passed. Currently, it's about 2/3 have passed and 1/3 have failed. So again, about 35% overall of public schools, traditional public schools, have attempted an operating referendum. After this year, when I'm doing this presentation next year, I'm guessing that number is going to be closer to 50% because of the number of people who will be going this fall. The rest of the items in your packet, I have a chart in there showing the revenue amounts per student for the Lake, Porter, and LaPorte County school districts, all within our region. And it seems about on average, people went up in that 3 to 4% in their funding from fiscal year '25. And then there's a pretty bar chart that's showing where we are. You know, we are third or fourth from the bottom in Lake County in the amount of we get per kid. Only Crown Point, Hanover, and Munster get less dollars per student than we do. But again, that's based on everyone gets the same foundation, and then it's increased based on your poverty level. And so your less than poverty districts are going to be more toward the bottom. And as we've reported here recently, our free and reduced population numbers have been steadily increasing each year. We're I think we're around 25% now, district-wide, still toward the lower end in some of our peers across the states, and across the area. So a lot of charts and graphs, but do you have any questions about any of this? Okay, well, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't think there's any public comments, so we can move right into board comments and consideration of future agenda items. Mr. Marshall?
I just have a very short comment. I'd like to thank Sarah for joining the Lake Central community. We're looking forward to having her and working with her. She represents a significant change in my life, and that's changing my favorite number to 5. She will be the 5th superintendent I've worked with here.
That's good.
It also is significant, I started with the 5, 1985.
I was going to ask that.
And later this year, 5 will be in my chronological age, so I can't get away from 5. Thank you, Sarah.
Mrs. Talent?
How do you follow that? I would like to say thank you, though, to Dr. Veraco, as Sarah so eloquently said. Thank you for the foundation and the things that you've done, too, to bring us to the point where we have gained a wonderful superintendent through also your investment and mentoring. Thank you.
Dr. Malkow?
Miss Sarah, who would have thought that you would have been a Michigan City classroom teacher, and now you're a superintendent at Lake Central? Quite a change, isn't it? Congratulations on that. And I noticed that our girls' swim team did very well. I think they did well down at state competition, too. So way to go, gals. And any resolution from Neola yet, Dr. Veraco, or do we know what happened on all that, or?
I talk to them regularly to
Pardon me?
push them to get the stuff updated, so.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. That's all.
Ms. Kelly?
I will once again congratulate Sarah. We're very excited. Thank you, Dr. Veraco. And we would be remiss not to mention Principal Graber,
Oh, yes.
who was in our packet this evening.
I I believe he said 40 and a half years. Was it 40? Wow. Wow, 40.5. Wow. It all counts.
Congratulations on your retirement. You also will be very missed. Thank you for all of your dedication and to our students, our staff, our community. Thank you. That's all.
And all I have for tonight is I'll top Dr. Malco. We have 2 wrestlers that are going to state on Saturday, or Friday, so I'll be watching for that. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Varacco for board calendar or future activities.
Sarah, you want to take this over, or not yet? All I have is our next meeting is here, March 2nd. So March 2nd, 7 PM. Thanks.
Do we have motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
I will second. We are adjourned.